name's Thurlby and I'm a first year management student at Liverpool. I'm going to talk about brass bands because I believe that they are an undervalued social community art. And the reason I've chosen to talk about this is because it is something that is really, really important to me. I've been a part of this community ever since I can remember, and it's been a powerful influence over my life. It has also provided me with many skills that I feel if I hadn't learned, I definitely wouldn't be doing this course and choosing this way of life. A bit of history, it started around the beginning of the 1800s with the first band being recorded in 1809, which was Staley Bridge. There was around an estimation of 20,000 brass bands, and it was all part of industry, the mills, quarries and such things. Also, as you can see, that during the Victorian era, this is where we got our grand bandstands, which scatter the seafronts across Britain. Unfortunately, during the 1980s, as part of industry, with all the cuts and the pits and everything else, brass bands started to fold as a result of this because many industries were closing. And after that, they continued to decrease as well. I don't know whether any of you have seen recently that there was the brass band programme on the BBC, which shows the path of Dinnington Colliery Band to try and reinvent themselves and gain more players. Sue Perkins presented that programme and raised some really interesting points that hit home for me. As you can see from the quotes, brass bands are given £1 for every £1,113 that goes to opera. Also, within the last 5 years, brass bands received just under £100,000, which is quite a substantial amount of money, but when you compare that to what opera and ballet have received, as you can see, that is really, really bad, I think. And I'm not saying that opera isn't, worth so much money, but I just think that it could be shared out in a more fair way, seeing as how brass bands are really important to a lot of communities, particularly in rural areas. They help local authorities meet government targets like social cohesion. They help bring communities together. Many communities, particularly mine at home, rely on brass bands to provide entertainment, such as carnivals, fetes, galas, charity events, all for a reasonable price that they can all afford. On average, it costs around £150 to hire a brass band. And with so many folding, through lack of funding, it's a big shame, because it also means that children that would have opportunities to get involved and learn so many new skills from brass bands don't get those opportunities. The community brass bands that I work with also offer free tuition and instruments and music and uniforms and transport to all the children, which is a fantastic resource to be giving them, but it all costs money. I did flash by the vetting and borrowing scheme, which will have a massive impact on brass bands and then being able to find new players. One of the bands that I wanted to highlight was Boobs and Brass, which I play for, which is an all-female brass band. It was started in 2006 as a one-off concert and we raised £5,000, but since then it's continued to grow and we've raised just over £56,000 for breast cancer. We have over 50 members which live throughout the country and all travel down to Northamptonshire to do rehearsals. This weekend I'll be going from Liverpool to Raunds on Sunday morning, up early, for a rehearsal just for a concert so that we can keep raising money. This picture here was taken at Butlins Mine Workers Contest this year, and we were lucky enough to host several events to raise money for the charities, including a boob blow, which did raise a few eyebrows, but basically it was where 400 men and women paid £2 for a small pin badge which enabled them to come and play with Boobs and Brass. They only got a chance to play three pieces, and it meant that every position was doubled. Well, there was loads of them, all in this tiny little space, which raised £800. We also raised £7,000 through merchandise and presented an extra cheque for £15,000. Now, this is just one example of how a brass band works really well without funding, but there are so many out there that really, really need it. We do have a presence on the internet, but it's not widely known. It's kind of kept within the community, which is a shame, and I think this is one way that brass bands could project themselves more. So yeah.